Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin, and I just renamed my Windows host name by going in through Internet Explorer, finding the icon named This PC, right-clicking on it, and going to Properties, which brings up Settings and drops you into the correct place to have your device specifications. And you can see the new name I gave it, Diamond Age, in my Alice in Wonderland and Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz naming convention. So Diamond Age is one of Neil Stephenson's great books, one of the greatest coming-of-age stories of our time of that genre. And so we've got that as the name. Now I actually want my my Linux distribution set up under that. So I'm going to go back into a PowerShell. This is a Windows PowerShell. You get that by going to the Start menu, starting to type PowerShell and clicking the icon. And from here we can list our Linux versions that are on here. So I already have 18.04, which is set as the default. So it was created while a different Windows hostname existed. And I am sure I could figure out how to change that through settings. So if I go in through here, you'll see my prompt is going to reflect, hey, there it is, my Windows host name. So I don't have to change anything. It just picks it up automatically. Now, Ubuntu, I am not happy with at all, so I'm going to change the default user. Now, again, I could do this through command line, through Linux command line, create a new user, delete the Ubuntu user, but honestly, you don't know what happens when this stuff gets set up initially with the default user. So I find it easier. It's actually quick enough that you can just, and I'm not deep enough into it, I'm not deleting anything on that instance of Linux because I just created it in that earlier video. So I can just WSL unregister Ubuntu hyphen 18.04 unregistering. So if I list my Ubuntu's again, it's just not there. If I go over here and try to run that, it'll probably bring up PowerShell. See, there it is with a C colon backslashes because there is no Linux that can be found anymore. So I'll close out of that. I'll go back here and I'll do a WSL install distribution Ubuntu hyphen 18.04. That'll start the install process. And now, instead of going with that traditional Ubuntu name that me and almost everyone else uses for these things, I am going to go with Nell, N-E-L-L, for Princess Nell from Diamond Age. All right, so we're Nell at Diamond Age now. We can close out of that, and we can go back over to Screen 2, bring it up to Terminal, and there we are, Nell at Diamond Age. And we're going to do a just to make sure you understand this distro D, the fact that System D, the critical feature of Linux that Microsoft left out, isn't there. You can tell by PS1, it's going to show you the init process, but that is not detailed enough. /init only tells you a location. It doesn't actually tell you the process name the way it should. So you have to do PS-O for formatting, ask for the COM column, and process ID 1, and you can see it's init. That is the before, and so I am going to go over here, open a web browser, and show you what everyone should be getting into the habit of if they start doing Linux on Windows, and that is distro D. Distro D. You don't even have to download anything from the website. It gives you a few commands. The download takes place using the curl command from within your Unix distro or your Linux distro. So I pick up those 3 commands. I make sure I'm on option 2. You want it from option 2. And I paste it in here. All right, so that's part of it. The other part of it is to enable the service. there's these two commands. This does it on start in Windows. I haven't had that great of success on that, so I've been using this one. Let's see, that's right click, okay. Oh yeah, permission denied. They leave off the sudo in those instructions. So that has to be sudoed or sudoed, super user do. All right, now we exit out of here and we go back in. And remember that command that showed us the word init? The next time we do that command, it's going to show systemd, right? This is what you're looking for. This means that systemd is installed. And I haven't even done an apt update, a sudo apt update, a sudo apt upgrade to get this up to the latest. I'm going to spare you that. I'll update my system on my own time. But I can still lxd init. This is the magic part here. This is what a whole slew of my videos have been about recently, so that you can just walk your way through the wizard and get LXD containers on a instance of Linux under the Windows subsystem for Linux. It seems like such a small thing. I'm just blasting through it, but it took me such a long time to figure out the magic cocktail mix, the combination, or really the selections of Linux versions to use and how to sprinkle in the systemd there. Okay, so now I can lxc launch ubuntu 18 colon 18. I'll do a 20. I'll show you. We can use 20.04 under 18.04. I'll show something new in my videos. Even though we are currently on Ubuntu 18.04, I just created a container which is 20.04 underneath the sub-Linux of 18.04. Which is kind of exciting stuff. And then we're going to lock it into that every time this this gets pulled up, so that you see this null at Diamond Age. That tells us we're on our sub-Linux, right? So what we're about to have is a new container with the user Ubuntu. It has nothing to do with the fact Ubuntu shows here. It's just what this container system does. And it's a warm-opossum. Is that opossum? Yeah, a warm-opossum. I guess it's like pronounced possum. And we can lxcls to see it running there. You got to change your size. If you don't want to change your size, if you get upset at that and you want to keep it at a normal size, you can do lxcls fast. Yeah, there it is. So it just doesn't show your IP. See how the IP is shown here? It just doesn't show the IP, so it doesn't force that line wrap. Now we log into it with this command, lxc execute. So we're executing a command on warm-opossum. In fact, we have to name it after lxc exec. We got to put the container name and then 2 minus signs and a space, and then the command we're going to execute on it, which is switch user login as Ubuntu. Now I'm actually going to copy that into my operating system buffer, and you'll see why in a moment. Now watch my command prompt. It's currently null at Diamond Age. As soon as we execute this command, we are now Ubuntu at warm-opossum. Okay? Right, so you can give it the names yourself. You can actually assign this name. I just find it entertaining to see what it picks. There must be some library out there that does this, because you see this kind of stuff in a lot of places these days. So I'm going to exit out of that. We get back our prompt, exit. I'm going to exit out of that. We get back our prompt of null at Diamond Age. And now I'm going to vim a .bash underscore login, bash profile. I'm going to go into insert mode, paste my copy buffer from my operating system, escape : W quit. Now I'm going to exit out of here. Now when I double click this terminal, what do you think my prompt's going to be? Do you think it's going to be null at Diamond Age or Ubuntu at warm-opossum? Well, let's see. Ubuntu at warm-opossum. We have locked ourselves in to the container. The whole purpose for that outer sub-Linux, the sub-Linux directly under Windows, is just to run the LXD container system so that we can pull up containers. And now we have complete freedom to experiment. It doesn't matter what we do with this Linux because creating new ones are like that.